Greetings, welcome back to my channel, my platform where we discuss human resource matters. Hashtag now you know with Josephine, the HR. Today I'm going to share with you very briefly in relation to when you're leaving employment, and we're going to look at it in two scenarios: as an employee, as an employer. The first scenario will be what is required of you as an employee to leave your employer or to leave your organization. One, you may be wanting to leave your organization because of greener pastures, or rather, let me just say a normal separation where you just want to transit and go do your own things. Probably you want to go to greener pastures, that is a new company, or you want to go do your own stuff. What happens is when you join an employment, there's a contract that an employer issues you or gives to you that really stipulates the number or the number of days or months that you're supposed to issue your employer before you leave employment, because it's normally employer or employee who can give a notice. And the minimum notice could be, if you're in probation, the minimum notice is 7 days. And if you are over and above the number of months of probation, it's probably a minimum of 1 month. But again, it depends with the level or the cadre of position that you have. There are some organizations that give they give a period of more than a month depending on the position that you hold. Could be an executive position or a senior managerial position, basically, that normally issues, or your employer can issue you more than a month. But what the law stipulates is a minimum of 1 month. However, if you are serving during a probation period, a minimum is 7 days. But again, I state that it depends with the position that you are serving. Some positions, if it's a senior position, the employer can give you a minimum of maybe a month or even 2 months. It depends, but minimum what the law has given us or what the law stipulates, it's 7 days. Now, scenario one, as an employee, you want to leave your employment, or you want to leave your employer because of your own issues, probably greener pastures, as I said, or the any reason that you have for you to leave that organization. So you have to issue your employer with notice. If it is you are serving probation period, if your probation period has not ended, give the days that are stipulated in the contract that you are issued by your employer. So first things first, your employer must have issued you with a contract. Contracts, there are several number of contracts. It could be a verbal contract that should not exceed at least 3 months, and written contract, okay? And there are several types of contract. Probably your contract is a fixed contract or an open contract. An open contract has a start date, but it doesn't have an end date. So probably you can serve your employer until retirement. But a fixed contract has a start date and an end date. So I give an example. If you commence work maybe 1st of June 2021, and maybe it's a 1-year contract, hence it's going to end maybe 30th May 2022. That's a 1-year contract, meaning it has a start date and it has an end date. So what the clause on termination or resignation stipulates, you as an employee, you have to issue your employer a particular number of months or days so that you are able to leave employment. So let's take a case where your notice period should be a 1 month. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to write a resignation, or you are going to resign from your current employment and give your employer a 1 month notice. A 1 month notice here, it's calendar days. It's not really working days, it's calendar days. Because of course, when your employer is paying you, your employer is paying you as per the calendar days. Unless otherwise, your employer is supposed to pay your calendar days. And that's between 28-30 days. So what the law stipulates, it stipulates a 1 month salary. Yeah? So you issue your employer with 1 month notice where you are going to serve the notice. Now, your employer can decide to accept the notice and allow you serve the notice physically. That is, every day you are reporting to your office or at your workstation to work, and hence you'll be serving notice while at work. An employer also can decide to waive your notice. And when an employer waives your notice, he is supposed to pay you in lieu of the notice, because he has waived. Okay, so if you have resigned and you have given a 1 month notice and your employer feels that you are not supposed to serve it physically due to several reasons, probably your employer is supposed to pay you the 1 month notice, and so your employer will accept or acknowledge your resignation and accept it and respond to you that, okay, fine, we are going to waive your notice. By waiving notice here, it means that you are not going to work physically in the company. So you're going to leave. For example, if you resign today, your employer is going to give you feedback, accepting the notice, and pay you off from today. But your employer has to pay you a 1 month notice. That's like it translates to as if you have worked that very month. So two scenarios: if you resign, you can serve the notice every day until 1 month is over, or your employer, after accepting your resignation, can waive your notice but pay you off the 1 month. I hope that's clear. So that's one scenario where it's you as an employee, you are resigning from your employment. Okay, and hence you have terminated your contract with your employer. The other scenario is whereby your employer has terminated your services, and by terminating your services due to several reasons, could be it's non-performance, could be it's a misconduct, could be how can I say, could be probably they're taking a break, or maybe laying you off, which is totally, that's very different, but still the same thing. If your employer is terminating your contract, the employer is supposed to pay you 1 month notice. And remember, I said when I talk of 1 month notice, it's on the minimum. If you are serving a probation period, its minimum is 7 days. So it depends with what you have agreed with your employer. I hope that's clear. So your employer is going to terminate your services and give you a notice period as per the contract that you agreed between yourselves. That is between both parties, that is employer and employee. Okay, so when your employer terminates your contract, you will serve the notice, 1 month notice, or he terminates your contract, okay, and pay you in lieu of the notice. Okay, so the other scenario is whereby you as an employer, what is it that you're supposed to do? Make sure that everything is in writing as an employer. Don't do a verbal communication when it comes to separation. Make sure it is in writing. And that is where, as a HR, you come in and step in on behalf of your employer, because that's your office as a human resource. Okay? You step in and make sure that you have done everything in writing. No verbal communication. In matters of HR, no verbal communication. Okay? So, as an employer, make sure that everything has been done in writing. Asking the employee to serve the notice, or you are paying in lieu of the notice. It's also good to ask the employee to hand over, because you as an employee, it's not good. Don't burn the bridges, okay? So it's always good to hand over what you are working on to another employee who is going to take over your office or your docket. Okay, so make sure that you return, as an employee, make sure the employee has returned everything in possession, and now you pay off. When you're paying off as an employer, okay, make sure if it is a termination case, remember we said you'll pay off the number of days worked, and you'll pay off the notice period. Minimum being 7 days probation period, or 1 month if it is a regular contract. Okay, so pay off. Again, as an employer, make sure that you have paid your employee the number of accrued leave days. Accrued leave days, these are the leave days that the employee has not gone on leave. So you pay that, and any other thing, could be an allowance for the month or something like that. Make sure as an employer you issue certificate of service to the employee. Certificate of service is as per section 51 of the Employment Act, that is normally issued to an employee who has served not less than 4 weeks. So if you have an employee, or you're terminating an employee and has served more than 4 weeks, make sure as an employer you issue certificate of service. And as well, employee, ask for your certificate of service before you leave your current employer. And with that, I wish you all the best. Let's meet to the next episode when we are discussing HR related matters. Now you know with Josephine, the HR